Panda, Panda, Panda. What do we think going into game number 4? What are we going to see different? We saw first 2 games were tanks, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Third game, we had that nice little heal off. What do you think is going to happen in the 4th game?
Well, the 4th game is uncertain what's going to happen. But what I can tell you is going to happen after this, it's not going to be Vivid and Panda anymore. It's going to be SVG and Shio stepping in here to cover all the NA action. So make sure to stay tuned for them because they'll be going on shortly after we're done. But here it is, the final game. And all I hope is that we have another end game like the one we just witnessed with limited vehicles, because vehicles were getting taken out left and right by these players. So they're starting to realize what they need to do. And let's just see more actions like that.
Yeah, that is very, very true. We did see a lot less vehicles. In part, we saw a Nas and Pink kind of putting on a showing of their own, kind of doing their dues and removing those tanks. They kind of knocked out one team of a tank, and then when Andretta's duo took that tank over, they then knocked Andretta out of the tank. So those shots, Nas and Pink, put some respect on their names. Those boys can definitely aim. Those shots were incredible to see last game. But it's going to take more than just a Nas and Pink to knock out the number of tanks that are actually available on this Fortnite island. So we'll have to see if the lobby wants to switch it up. But now all these players got to think to themselves like, man, this dude Noah guy, he just performed the great heist. He picked up 2nd place by sitting in Storm all the way at Chonkers Speedway. So are we going to see some players kind of forcefully force them out of that situation, or are some players going to try to replicate it? Like, what do you think, Panda?
I think we're definitely going to see another team probably try to replicate that. It makes the most sense, right? They especially a team that's already in the top 8, if they can just consistently make it to the end game and get those placement points, that's an easy top 5 spot, and they can go on to that huge event coming on later in the year. But I actually have a live update for everybody. If you're a Fortnite fan, this is going to hit home. We're removing most vehicles and fire from all tournament playlists. So while this isn't going to affect what we're seeing today here in Zero Build, through standard competition playlists similar to FNCS and Arena, you're going to see some limited vehicles and no fire. So huge changes coming out. Figured I'd share that little update with you all as we see the true impact of having vehicles in the game.
Yeah, wow, that is a crazy change that we are seeing right there. Thank you, Panda, for that update. Again, that is not, I don't believe it's going to affect these no build kind of playlists, but those competitive playlists where those vehicles have kind of taken over, they are actually going to be removed in hopes to improve server performance. So great to see the Fortnite team kind of working on that. But Malabuka and Mustache. Now, Panda, this is a high value team here, right? Like one that we usually see at the top of the leaderboards, and I really haven't seen much out of them today.
I feel like they may have been hiding the first couple games, and now they've decided to show themselves and step up. And listen, man, that's a power team right there. I can see them getting 30 eliminations, right? 30 eliminations and a victory royale. Could you imagine in one game being able to top what has taken players 4 games to get in points? So it would be pretty impressive, to say the least. I'm excited to see what they can accomplish. But for players like Stenmo and Lushi, they already know what they need to do to accomplish success here. And that's take advantage of this vehicle, keep it alive as long as possible, and keep the game moving.
Yep, these trucks, they're pretty good. Put that cow catcher on the front there so that way you can ram through some stuff, and then these upgraded tires are very, very helpful. But as we come over here to Rocky Rears, we're talking about the last few of the blimps that are actually available. Xerox is going to be knocked up here. Not sure how this happened, but he is going to be getting picked up. As we see in the Yelan feed, actually, a Nas and Pink do get eliminated. So they are actually out of it this game. They were making a pretty good run. Another team that was making a pretty good run, kind of like a sort of a comeback, if you would say, is Vidil and Noah Riley. And Kelly kind of talked about how the Cavern switch up for them has worked so well. And looking at their effective HP bars, they seem that they are both 100 shield and 100 HP. So looks like they're in a pretty good position, Panda.
Yeah, definitely a good position and definitely a good switch up for them. Which, honestly, that's what we love to see, right? We love to see people who, in the first half of things, maybe they they weren't hitting the goals that they were hoping to hit, or accomplishing what they were hoping to accomplish, and ultimately finding some fixes for that and turning it around. And that's what we see here from them. But it looks like Malibu Mustache, another team looking to put some huge points here on the board in the final moments of this tournament.
Yeah, they're in a pretty good position, but he's kind of falling into this like situation where he's just kind of taking these shots that aren't really accomplishing anything, right? Like you're just like, oh my gosh, look, this player's in the open, I have to take shots, right? Like, let me do damage, let me see if I get an elimination. But the player is pretty safe, you know what I mean? Like, they're in a car, and I don't even think he ended up hitting them at all. So you kind of just waste ammo, which becomes so important. Like, there were multiple times where I have played games where I've been like restricted on the amount of ammo I have just simply because I was being careless earlier on. But that's not the case for Noah Riley, as he is playing this third person angle, kind of trying to hide, and he is suspicious of that player kind of seeing him potentially, so he's going to run back to the safety of Vidil as Vidil tries to play some tricks with the Anvil rocket launcher, kind of trying to send that thing up through there. You got any tips for him, Panda? Any way that he can kind of squeeze that rocket up to that angle?
Hey, listen, if he jumps and shoots, you get a little bit more control out of it. But one thing I will say is, in my opinion, that's the misplay. Those rockets are so valuable for the final moments of this game. And, well, fortunately, Vidil has quite a few, right? But it's more valuable to have 2 rockets in the inventory of a team, especially a team that doesn't have a vehicle readily available for them to use to take advantage of. But, we see some nades coming out. We see explosives being used left and right. And you know they got the C4 on the door there. So all it takes is Kira and Blast just to creep up into that vault there, and they're going to end up paying the price.
This is hilarious. I can't believe they're like entertaining this idea of trying to like fight this from Kerwa and Blast. I myself... Oh, no! Panda.
Oh, man.
The Anvil.
Wow.
The Anvil rocket launcher. You gotta be careful when you're in these close spaces. He tries to sneak one into the vault door, and instead, the Anvil rocket launcher, it goes upwards and it goes right into the ceiling and ends up knocking him as the rifle damage comes in from Vidil and Noah. That is hilarious.
Impressive is what it is.
Was that impressive?
Play, listen, you know, the play worked out, right? So I gotta say, in zero builds, all these new plays are impressive to me, to be honest. It's funny to see the creativity or the accidents that lead to like these major plays made by a team. So hey, props to them for making something happen in that fight, because that fight was at a standstill for a while too.
Yeah, you gotta think about it. You know, I was like, man, this team's really thinking about, you know, fighting the people that are in the vault. You get the vault, you get so many resources, so many heals, and there's even like barrels that they could have used at one point. Obviously, they're kind of like trapped in a sense, but still a hard fight to take, and a little bit of a mistake, and ends up costing Blast and his teammates.
Yeah, but speaking of something that's not costing anything, it's Raiden. Dids. They have a decent amount of heals there for them, and they're able to escape there with one of those whiplash vehicles. And Lecce and Swilliam still in this game here. Doing some big things and getting big tags and eliminations. That's what you love to see, folks. Swilliam and Lecce coming out on top here in Chonker Speedway.
Wow, Swifty and Wendy off in the distance, just taking damage right on top of that little like plateau thing, and I guess they just had nowhere to run. Maybe so much damage was coming in. Lecce and Swilliam just hitting their shots so fast, no real time to react, and they just ended up getting wiped out from like full HP to 0, both of them. Incredible shots from Lecce and Swilliam. You know, you talked about Lecce, great to see him playing that controller GOAT. That aim clearly still on point even after that little break that you talked about.
Yeah, look, that's what you love to see, right? That was one of Lecce's strong suits for the longest time, right? Even on controller, right? He had some of the best long-range aim that we've seen from a player, and he continues to hone in on that ability here and come out on top here near Chonkers. But there are so many players, not only near Chonkers Speedway, but they're outside of zone. I don't know what's going on. Is this like a truck meetup here or what? But they're going to need to start moving here shortly.
And Tripper and Andretta are down here at Chonkers. We just saw them in like game 2, right? They were landing at Sleepy, which is all the way to the north, and now they're all the way south. Are they just around the worlding right now? Is that what's going on? Making a little bit of a day trip out of this match? This is incredible. And,
yeah, it's kind of a surprising change, to say the least.
Yeah, I wonder if it was a change at all, or if they just literally just drove down here just to kind of see the scenery.
They're like, hey, listen, let's go on a road trip. Let's hop in the car and see where it takes us, right? But hey, listen, the vehicles have been an impressive part of all the zero build tournaments thus far that we've seen today. So many games still left here in the NA region. So for those of you watching right now, make sure to stay tuned because the action continues on to North America region. So make sure to stay tuned for all that action unfolding because we got incredible names over there as well competing. But we're going to finish it off here in EU with Jodar and Axel walking away with 2 of the powerhouse vehicles in the game at this moment. Will we be able to see them use that successfully, or are we going to see teams like Vidil, Noah Riley use those launchers?
And look at this. We're going to see a blimp come into play. Yeah, this is only the second zone, so probably after the next zone shows itself, they won't be in since they are on the edge right now, but there is a possibility. Jaren and Pickle find themselves on top of the Tilted Towers blimp, and Malabuka and Merstash look like they're in a pretty good position, and it's kind of incredible because this position, maybe this has kind of been a contributing factor, right? We haven't seen a lot of zones that have involved these blimps yet, right? And when you are up on these blimps, you see so much that if you have the ammunition, you can kind of take out some of the effective HP on some of these vehicles, as we saw Pickle and Jaren kind of shooting at some of them, but they've realized that they weren't getting anything done, and they just start staring at the trucks and not really doing anything about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's kind of funny to watch how these players utilize the different vehicles in different ways, right? Obviously, look, the Whiplash is good when it comes to whipping around the map, trying to get things done. And then when you have like the armored battle bus, the tank, the semi-truck, the regular truck, like these vehicles are meant to just stay around and destroy anything in its path. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. But again, I've seen quite a few vehicles so far, but I feel like I've seen less vehicles than before. But no, there it is. It's Noah looking to continue to accomplish the heal off here. But it looks like they're potentially struggling with another team contesting them over in this area.
Yeah, Raiden and Dids. I'm not sure if they have plans to get out of the zone or if they're kind of trying to replicate Noah's strategy. They are in the Whiplash and they are driving, but I'm not sure what they are going to do. There are a couple other players actually out here, a full duo, just right to their northeast right now. But it looks like they are actually making an effort to make it into the zone, so no heal off for this duo at least. But like you mentioned, new Noah again out in the zone, and he only had 1 med kit, so definitely not the amount of meds that he had last game to replicate that sort of strategy, but maybe his duo has a plethora of meds and they are planning on doing it again.
Could be. They could be planning it. Or we could see a different team end up pulling off the heal off. Because remember, Chonkers Speedway area isn't the only place you can accomplish a heal off. So it'll be interesting to see how these players adapt or who ends up trying to take that strategy. But speaking of a different strategy, it's Lecce and Twilliam with the classic high ground, focus any players that come by strategy.
Gosh, I can't stop looking at their ammo count, right? I'm always so worried about it. Swilliam's got 400 though. Like, he's fine. I just have, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like traumatizing. I was in a game and I just like was shooting at everybody and I ran out of ammo, so now I'm just so worried for every other player. But they're doing fine. They've all managed their resources well. I guess in my retired old age, I'm just bad at managing my resources, so I ran out of ammo that one game.
Hey, listen, it happens, right? Like, you remember those things. You definitely remember those events for sure. But regardless, these players are doing a good job of maintaining these resources, but it's also due to these players getting eliminations to pick up refreshes and get more resources too. So impressively so, our first place team in Unhydra and Triprin, they're holding on. They're doing extremely well here in these final moments. And it looks like they may be good to go. Oh no, this is going to be a tough situation for them to be in.
Yeah, so actually, they have a good opportunity to run in right now because Andretta is actually knocked, which was the main team that was kind of holding them out. They got to pay attention to their East, though. As Raiden comes in, we saw him off in the storm. They make a good play to kind of avoid that. They do realize that Andretta is knocked. They are making a push play on him. Andretta gets picked up. Oh! As soon as he picks Andretta up, Tripper and Andretta both hop in the truck. Oh, the truck blows up, though. Tripper's still alive. No, he ends up going down to Noah Riley and Vidil up on the hill here, benefiting from this kind of battle that's been going on.
Well, we talked about it, right? We talked about how they needed a comeback, and this was a team that knew how to handle these high-pressure situations in the second half of a tournament, and they're showcasing exactly that here as they have 4 eliminations on the board. They're staying alive here as these players continue to rotate around them, and they have really good positioning where they were at, as long as they can maintain some semblance of high ground. But as I say that, Vidil, Noah Riley getting punished by these other players. Vidil going to go down. Noah Riley by himself here, using the cow catchers to just try and stay alive here. But now Unhydra, they're looking to potentially get involved here, as well as other players fully getting attacked. But Noah Riley by himself, the clutch master here in this final moment. Will he be able to hold on? It looks like it's a no.
Nah, I mean, great effort. I don't even know what just happened, right? Like, they were kind of chilling up on this hill, and then, what do you think? Did they get a little bit too aggressive, right? Like, they saw an opportunity to kind of go for some elims, and they kind of just started driving their truck around and left that hill. Like,
have to.
Maybe
yeah.
They could have just stayed up there, you know what I mean?
100%. I think they gave up the advantage that they had in that fight, and then gave it to another team, because you saw another team just creeped up, end up not only getting the high ground, but getting those eliminations. But speaking of eliminations, 10. Did you see that? 10 eliminations in this final game for that team. That is an impressive amount. I'm surprised that these players are just falling like this.
Yeah, 10 is incredible. This zone is coming to a close, but already 29 players alive. As we pan over to Nipsey and Coop. We saw Coop came number 1, if you guys remember. He was in that situation where he got second place, went down as the tank. Him and his duo are going to be ourselves a cozy little spot in the attic of this house. Probably hearing all the chaos going outside, and they're just like, yeah, we're good. You guys just keep on keeping on, and we'll be in here.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be what's going through their mind right now. You see the amount of players in that building, too? Like, on each level. They're like, listen, you guys take the basement. We're going to take the first floor. You guys can have the attic. Don't even sweat it. Like, oh, you know what? We have one more? Yeah, take the second floor. But no. There it is. The building is fully collapsing. They are taken out here with Stenmo still rocking the same vehicle that we saw when we tuned in with them earlier in this game.
Yeah, it's crazy that repair torch again, highlighting that they are getting shot, but just repairing faster than they're really taking damage. So pretty good strategy for them to keep that vehicle alive. As we see Lecce putting himself in a pretty rough situation, but I think he shockwaves into a tree. So he might be hidden and safe. Yeah, Lecce is up in that tree over there. I don't know if he's actually in the zone, though, so he will have to make a play at some point to get out of that tree. But if he does have more shockwaves, then that should be pretty easy. As Steno puts down some great shots here on Swilliam, actually, which is Lecce's duo. Swilliam does go down, and Lecce's like, listen, bro, I got to leave you, and I'll be in the tree.
I'll be in the tree. I like that. I like the strategy, to be honest. Listen, nobody's chopping down trees, right? I mean, there might be a vehicle driving through one, don't get me wrong, but no one's actively chopping them down, getting those additional resources. And man, look at everything on the ground here. It is all coming down to this as these players are just driving left and right, resources left and right. Coop, though, one of our top performers in the first few games, still alive here in the final game of the day.
A little bit of a tough situation, right? Looks like this duo is the only duo without a vehicle. We see Steno, obviously completely fine in the truck of their own, as Nipsey goes flying into the air. Refscar with some tracking in the tank turret. He's going to hop out of the tank, kind of puts down some cow catchers to repair that tank. And your prediction, Panda, Bad Sniper still alive in this endgame.
still alive. This is wild.
Yeah.
There it is. Listen, I tried. They did well. You know, I still have faith that they're going to be in a good spot there on the leaderboard. But with players like Refsgaard and Kratz here, just elimination after elimination, it's going to be tough, right? This is the loadout of the century. You got a tank, you got a cow catcher, you have the MK7, and you have a heavy sniper. Like, this is literally everything you need for success here in these final moments, and that is why they're being so successful here in these last few minutes of the game.
Scram gets sent into the storm. DKS over here as a solo to verse Refsgaard in the tank. DKS makes a shockwave play all the way up. Refsgaard with great tracking out of the turret. DKS actually hops into the tank. He's still alive, Panda.
Still alive, holding on for my prediction. I'll take it, but no, as I say, it goes down, gets obliterated out of the sky, and it is all over. To finish it up, we have none other than Refsgaard and co. walking away with the final victory royale of the day with at least, I believe, 11, 12 eliminations there. That is an impressive way to close out EU.
I mean, those 4 games were awesome, right? I love the no build element that we have seen all day. Panda has been very, very great. And Refsgaard putting on quite the